I think now we have a sound. There we go. We are live. There is Julian. Just a second. Say hello to the audience.
Hello everyone. I'm sorry for the slight delay. We're having some troubles with the sound, but I think we are fine now. You're probably seeing the chat window on the right, so if you're experiencing any issues, just let us know so we can fix them while we are doing this webinar. And now Vali will tell you a bit more what we are going to do here today.
So today, both of us are going to speak again like what we did on our last presentation. We're going to present our strategies. We're going to speak for like some major decisions that we are making while we are trading. We're going to show you what is more applicable for our strategy, and of course we're also going to speak about what can you change and how can you apply it to be like more comfortable for you. We can also discuss ways, for example, you can tell us if something is not okay for your strategy. We can give you advice, or we can discuss it, what can you change and how can you make it to apply for the sector that you're trading. Also, we're going to show you some live trading. We're going to show some major securities that you're trading. We're going to start probably with the most popular one, with the Forex. Probably Ilyan will going to show you several of his last trades, and of course he's going to show you some live trading. And then we're going to switch to my areas of expertise. We're going to check some trading of the commodities. Probably I'm going to show you some metals and other commodities, and of course we're going to switch to the indexes, because the trading there is more interesting, and of course it's accessible for everyone. So a lot of people would like us to show you this, and of course in the end, if you have some other questions, we're also going to discuss them, and hope that we're going to spend your time well, and we can of course will be useful for you. What else? The platform that we are using, we're going to start with Admiral Markets platform. It's MetaTrader 5. It's one of the most popular one. That's why we choose it, because in this way many people will be familiar with it, and whenever we are showing something, it will be familiar for you. And of course, our sponsors for our events, they're using this platform, so we wanted to show you what advantages it can give you. Here we're also going to mention that as we know, the last presentation was moved from today to next Tuesday. It's 18th of December. We're going to discuss again everything that we promised you. We are going to discuss the risk management, and we're going to show again a lot of interesting stuff from our personal trading, and a lot of information, hopefully which will be good for you. Here is Ivan sneaking in.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. You can
continue. It's fine. If you want, you can add something that will be useful for our audience.
No, I think you said it all, so we can just continue forward. You can start by showing them how you trade, maybe some techniques, some approaches you have for the market, and then I'll show them. And after that, we can start with the live session, I guess, for on the lower time frames. We're not going to trade the H4 because this stream will be 24 hours or more. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, type them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer you or to help you. Also, if you have any troubles with the audio or video settings, again, type in the chat so we can fix them or help you fix them.
So let me just share the screen so you can see what you're actually seeing as well.
What? Not the other one.
I'll show you this one. Give us a second. There it is. This one, right?
No, this is the local desktop present. Still nothing. I think it should be on. Yeah, it's on, but yeah. Okay, so I think now it's working. I don't know what was the issue, and I'm not sure if you were hearing us all the time. Just a quickly recap of what we said here is that we are currently having an ECB decision about interest rates. You can see how severe the market reactions are. Usually it's best to stay away from those types of markets. It's good to wait until the market is okay, it's stable once again, and then start looking for possible entries. Also, if you have any positions open during that time, it is good to close part of them at least in order to preserve your capital and to preserve actually your exposure to the market. Let's see what's going on the M5. I don't know why we are having issues with the sound, but I hope it gets better. So here you can see on the M5 we have yet another range between those two areas, the support area and the resistance area on M15. So let's move down further to the M1 and see how things are going there. Okay. So you can see how strong the reaction was because of the news. Actually, here to be honest, on this currency pair, I'm not really seeing anything good at the moment to trade. So maybe we can just check some other currency pair, maybe the Great British Pound USD. Let's see what we have here. So we had a strong uptrend on the M15. It ended here, as you can see. Let's place our resistance area. So in this case, our resistance would be here. Okay, so this is our last stop. This will be our resistance area, and we'll most definitely need a support. But for example, if we expect for the uptrend to stop here and the downtrend to start, we'll look for an area where I expect the price to reach. So in this case, it would be this area here. This you can see square which the price formed. This is confirmed also by the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so this will be my support area, and as we said, this is a pretty short-term trading, so it's a bit harder to find good spots and also a bit harder to manage them, but we can give it a go. So my expectations here are for the price to fail breaking that area and to move further down back to this support area. So now this area between the two zones, between this resistance and between this support, is our sell area. So we can move further down on the time frames and see what we can do. So actually here you can see we had this uptrend wave of sorts on the M5. Actually, let me switch to the M3. This is 3 minutes time frame. One candle is made for 3 minutes. Let me just move those. God, this platform is ridiculous, but okay. Okay. The idea is that here you can see on the M3 we had an uptrend channel which was broken. So at this point I am inclined to sell the pair. Here, where would I put my stop loss? Well, in this case, you can see that actually this area on the M3 was tested twice. The price failed to go above it. So In this case, I would place my stop loss at around a bit above it. So this is 126.68. So let's put our stop loss at 126.75. Just a second, okay. So 126.75, as we said. We'll put our stop loss.
You should click modify, I think.
I'm not on modify.
I think so.
Okay, modify position. Yeah. So 126.75 is the place I don't expect the price to reach. Okay, so our stop loss is placed somewhere. Okay, you can see it where it is. We can drag it a bit down, like maybe here at 72. And now we just wait. So a level I would watch here is this one. You can see we had a few times the price, the downtrend stopped there. So this can be our take profit level. Or if the price continues further down, again, go back to the M15, our take profit level would be all the way down here. Yeah, so this is a more long-term profit level, and we'll just continue selling until we reach it, hopefully. Of course, let's just observe how our trade is doing. I sold with one lot, but this is a demo account, so it really doesn't matter, but it's good to have also some money management. So when you're going for a trade, try not to invest more than, for example, 1%, depending of course on the time frame you're taking the trade and where you are at the downtrend or uptrend. So for example, if I believe that this is the big, if we were actually somewhere here, it would be good to take the trade with more investment. Now the further down we go, the riskier it gets, so it's better to take the trade with less investment. And for example, if we manage to take some trade over here or lower, since we are getting closer to that support area, it's better to take the trade with even less investment. So for example, if you're taking the trade somewhere here at the beginning, you can take it with 1%. Then if you're taking it somewhere here, you can take it with 0.5%. And then if you take it somewhere here, you can take it with 0.25%, and so on and so on. So far on the M15, things are looking good. Let me go back to the M3. Okay, we are also having a break. Of course, if this candle closes like that of the Bollingers, which will be a good indication that this downtrend will most likely continue. You have to be careful in the management. So you can see that this is the downtrend channel, at least the top line, which is most important for us. And okay, so this is the downtrend channel so far. Now, in order to manage this better, if we see a break of this line of the downtrend channel, basically the upper line, it's good to close part or the whole position. Again, we would like to see how the price behaves when it reaches this level. As there we had a few bounces, as you can see. So this will be a very important level for us. If the price breaks it easily, then we can continue moving down to the M15 support area, where we expect this wave to finish all the way down here. So we can just observe now and see how things are going. Okay, I'll just actually delete this one because I don't know, we don't actually need it. Let me just mark those so they don't get deleted as well. Okay, and we can delete this one. Okay, now it's better. So here I wanted to place just a line, not a whole rectangle of sorts. So The only thing we can do here is wait. You can see that for the price it's actually pretty hard to continue further down. It's standing inside the Bollingers, although the Bollinger here started to open up a bit. Still we are seeing some pushes from the buyers. Now in this case you can see where our entry is, and I actually don't expect for the price to actually retrace back above here. This was basically the last top on this uptrend, which was broken with this big red candle. So in this case I would expect for maybe the price to make sort of a correction to here somewhere, but then for us to see a new move down further below here. Let's see if the trend channel will remain. You can see once again we are having a push from the buyers, from the sellers, I'm sorry, from the bears. So maybe we'll have a good trade here. In the meantime, basically I tend to do the same things but on higher time frames. But since we won't be able to do it on a lot higher time frames, we have to do it here on the M3. It's a bit hard to manage a trade here because, as you can see, the movements are pretty sometimes random, pretty quick. So it's a bit hard to, for example, if this downtrend channel is broken, we will most likely have to close our position around 0 or even on a minus. So it's on the higher time frames, it's a bit easier to I mean, those channels usually tend to last longer, and it's a bit easier to close when the downtrend is finished, to close the position still in profit. But let's see here. I expect this downtrend to remain unbroken at least until down here. But now we are having again a strong reaction, as you can see. So if this candle goes outside of this downtrend channel, I'm going to close the position. Doesn't matter if we lose in this case. It's better to lose less than to leave the price to reach our stop loss. You can always, usually it's best to manage your trade on the time frame you enter. But if you want to, for example, here on those lower time frames, you can even go to the M1 and try to spot a reversal or something there. You can see this downtrend channel is also good on the M1. We can see we had the bounce here. The price reached this upper line of the downtrend channel, and it's going down so far. So you can also try to manage the position or even take it on the M1. Actually, it's even better because you have more time to react on. I deleted this. Okay, it doesn't matter. We don't really need that. It's easier to manage the position because the M3 is a bit slow for an M15 plan, to be honest. So here it would be a bit hard. I mean, when the M3 candle closes, it might close, for example, all the way up here, and you have to close your position on a lot higher loss than if, for example, you watch the M1 and the candle on the H1 closes here by breaking the downtrend channel. You can close here, and again you'll be on either around 0 or on a very small loss or even very small profit. So in this case I would watch the H1 time, M1 time frame and see what we can do.
Should we speak for some basic analysis in the meanwhile, like how we read the news and some other
Or if you want, we can just do it separately later.
We can do it, but I'll have to close this graph, and that way we won't be able to manage the trade as
Okay.
we are not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what are my expectations here? To see a downtrend wave, which would make a lower low here, then maybe again a slight correction, and basically the price to remain inside of this channel by continuously forming lower lows and lower highs. Of course, in this case, we might also see something like that. For example, we see the price moving. Wait, I lost my. Okay, so this will be here. So we might see the price moving down again from here, but reaching to that previous bottom here, and then starting to reverse back again, which. Where is my, come on, to reverse back again from here, which actually would be, as you can see, a W formation on the H1, which actually gives us information that we might be up for a reversal. So it would be best to close some percentage of our trade. Let me show you the W formation itself. I'll just delete a few of the lines again. Okay, so if this happens, you can see we had the downtrend wave from here. This was the correction up to here, and then we expect for another downtrend wave, which either to reach back to that bottom or of course, as I said, lower. It is preferred to reach lower, so that would mean that this downtrend channel for now is intact, and the price will continue in the downtrend. But if we reach here and we see the next M1 candle starting to reverse in this case, we can safely close some percentage or the whole position, because most likely we'll see a break of this downtrend channel, and the price will continue further up, maybe going to all the way to our stop loss as well. So the only thing we can do here is be patient, wait for this sort of a plan to develop. I think we entered at a pretty good place, somewhere here. So it was just after shortly after the price broke out of this uptrend channel. Now if we see a break here of this downtrend up line, again we are closing our position. You can see we are currently making some profit. It's not huge, but on those time frames it's a bit hard to make a lot of profit on a single position, since things can change pretty quickly. Going back to the M15, I would like to maybe show you. Okay, so you can see actually the M15 candle closed, and we had a spinning top formed here and then a bearish engulfing, which is an indication that this downtrend will most likely continue. And at the same time, you can see after this downtrend wave, we had a small correction, a new downtrend wave, a correction, but overall the price is making lower highs and lower lows, which is another confirmation of the current downtrend we are in. So back to the M1 here. I will zoom a bit so you can see it better. So at this point, the price started to consolidate for a while. This can happen. It's not something rare. You can see even in this uptrend, we had consolidation here. We mark it with an, we might be going out of the, this is, can't consider it a breakout of it still, but we'll have to wait. But for example, you can see we had sort of a square here, which was broken, and the uptrend continued. So maybe we can see the same thing here.
So we have to consider it as an option as well. Let me put a possible, yeah, something like that. Of course, we'll have to wait a bit more for this to be confirmed. Okay, like that. Yeah. So we'll have to wait for this to be confirmed. Maybe the price will move for a while here, or maybe not. Maybe we will continue with our inside our downtrend. Actually, it made a small box, but on M1 it's like really, if we can consider this a box here. But this is not a very good place to enter, although the price actually stayed for a while just below the downtrend upper line, and now it's being broken. So I expect when this candle closes, the next one to be bearish as well. Yeah, so far. Oops, sorry. Yeah, now we are at this previous bottom. Now it's really important what will happen here. The best thing for us here is for the price to make a lower low, which would mean that this downtrend is continuing. But if the price stops here now on this M1 candle and makes sort of a reversal, so the next M1 candle to be bullish, it's best for us to close part of our position. You can see we stopped here. The price reached exactly at that previous bottom. Now it really depends on this candle what we will do with our trade here. So here, if this candle is bullish, we are closing our trade, especially if this bullish candle engulfs this previous bearish one. If this candle is bearish, we can wait for another minute maybe to see what will happen. But overall, I don't like this formation, and maybe we'll see actually a break here and a continuation up if this W confirms itself. So let's see what the price will do. Of course, those types of formations, so the M formation or W formation, are a lot stronger on higher time frames. So we might see a W formation here and it actually might not work out. The price might continue down. So we saw a bullish candle, but actually it's pretty small. Let me zoom in order to show you. You can see that actually it's just like a doji here.
Yep.
So I wouldn't consider that a confirmation that this W formation is happening. So I'll wait for another minute or maybe two. It really depends how the current one closes.
If that was on a higher time frame where the signals are stronger, if this doji that you spoke about actually was actually here on this level, that was going to be a very strong signal for me that probably the selling pressure is exhausted, and here I was going to reduce maybe all of my position or maybe most of it.
Okay, so we closed with a bullish candle, so I would prefer to close my trade here. Of course, you can close part of it. I just closed the whole trade. And I'll keep that chart so we can review it, what happened after this W formation. And now Value will talk a bit about his trading methods and maybe look for a nice opportunity to enter.
Now let me just open another chart.
So you just have to make it a bar chart here.
Yeah, is it
candlestick, yeah.
Maybe to put the background white again, because I think it's more applicable.
Yeah, you can do that. I think you can load a template maybe.
Here? Okay.
If we have any templates already, yeah, try to load a template.
Yeah, let me just do this.
So you have to change the bull candle color, the bear candle color, and the background.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
not this, because this is bar candle. You're watching
Okay.
a bull candle.
Okay.
Candles which are.
So let me just give me a minute to fix the graph in order for you can see it properly. Yeah, this will do for now. So this is again the CAC 40. As you can see, this is 1 hour. So let's go to 5-minute chart time frame. Yeah, as you can see, we tried to sell here. There was the movement after this, so it's a good thing that we closed our position. Let me check for another opportunity, maybe on another index. Let me check the German one. This is DAX. Maybe a lot of you are familiar with the indices. The numbers behind them are actually representing the number of the companies that they are holding. One of the biggest is the Standard & Poor's. It's holding 500 of American companies. Of course, there is another one. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Russell. There is even more. There is 1,000. So here let me check for another opportunity, maybe on this is the UK index FTSE. It's as you can see, it's 100, so there is 100 companies inside it. So here what we can observe that on this area here, let me just mark it for you, the price has stopped. As you can see, it's not exactly here, but we can observe it like as we spoke on our previous presentations, that the support and resistance areas are not exact align, but they're more like an area. Let me just fix this as well in order to be straight, because it actually bothers me. But yeah. So what we can see here is that the price is actually reacting after this reaching of this support area here. It was broken before, but then the bearish movement continues. As you can see here, the price reaches again. This area was acting as a resistance, as a support, sorry, this time, but it was very easy broken, and the movement continues. In my opinion, this is not a very good opportunity to enter a position, even though it's giving us the idea that probably the movement will be on the short side. As you can see, most of it is already happening. There is an engulfing on 5-minute chart time frame. But I think we are late for this movement. Maybe if the price breaks this area here, I'm going to mark it for you now. Maybe this will give us an idea that the movement will continue, and probably we'll be able to enter into a short position. But I don't think that we have the time to wait for this. But pretty much this is something that I'm looking very, very closely. On higher time frames, I'm looking the main support and resistance area, and whenever I see candle formation close to them, which are giving me bullish or bearish signal, this is the places that I'm trying to enter into a position. Let me check if we can open this one. Yeah, the thing is that this index is currently closed, so even if it's open, oh yeah, it is, so this is the future. The movement here will be a lot slower. So here what we can actually try is to see if the movement here is still applicable. Most of the indexes are following each other. So for example, if this is of course applicable for the higher time frames again, but if the European indexes are falling and they are the leading one at the current moment, this will apply to the US indexes as well. So this is an area where we can actually observe a drop from it. This is again, yeah, it is a 5-minute chart time frame. So the idea here will be to enter into a short position again. Of course, we have to see if the candle is going to close like this. Probably it will be. Most of the time I'm very nervous to trade on lower time frames because my strategy is not very applicable for them. So most of the trades that I'm taking like this are wrong. But the idea here will be that the price will probably, if it breaks this area here and those highs here are broken again, probably we can observe a continuation of the movement up to this point here, which I'm going to mark for you now. So probably up to this point we'll be able to see a movement which could continue. Okay, let's see it. Probably I don't want to wait until this 5-minute chart is closing, so I'm going to enter into a short position now. It could be again losing, but this is just an example, so it's okay. As I already mentioned, this is the Dow Jones Index. This is 30th of the blue chip companies on the US stock exchange. The idea here is again that we are observing the area here that probably it's going to be the resistance area, and if the selling pressure is exhausted, which is looking like this, the continuation of the downward sloping movement should give us an opportunity to reach this area here where we can close our position and realize some profit. Let me just put the stop loss. Give me a second.
I heard that we didn't have actually audio for like 30 or 40 minutes when we opened the graph, so I'm just typing in the chat that, and I'm gonna say it, that we're going to go through once again at the end of this webinar. We'll go through how we make our analysis, our trading day, each of us, so that you don't miss that part. And after that, we'll just cut the part where there is no sound, so that way you will be able to rewatch the whole webinar, but without any troubles.
Yeah, so here the stop loss I can post it. It will be somewhere around 24, let's say 598. Let me check how we can 24 598, and probably we can drag it after this. So modify. Yeah, it is very close, so I'll try to move it a little bit further up. So one of the possibilities is to put it here, with just above the tail of the previous candle, or if you want to risk more, you can put it somewhere around here, which is above these highs here. Up to this point, maybe I don't see a reason why we should risk that much, because it's a lower time frame, so I don't think that this will apply for us.
What's going on with my GBP
well,
USD?
is it here?
Yeah.
Let's check it.
Yeah, so it's good we closed.
Yeah,
the
it's
W
good that we
formation
closed.
actually happened, and now we actually might have another selling opportunity as the price reached, but I'll leave Value to manage his trade.
Actually, my trade it's open and it's really calm. So for now, if you want, you can speak. I'm just going to move. Yeah, I'm going to leave the stop loss here in order for us to have the opportunity to not to check it all the time. But yeah, as I already mentioned, in this resistance area, if the price holds under this level here, we will expect a continuation of the downward sloping movement, which will try to close here and realize some nice profit. I'll change to the Ilian's graph, and he can explain you a little bit more about his trade.
Okay, so if you remember, and hopefully we had sound during that time, we had a W formation here, so we decided to get out of the market on this candle. Our entry was placed over here. You can see the small sort of arrow. And it was a good decision, since basically the price made, you can call it also a double top of this downtrend, double bottom, sorry. And you can see how strong the reversal was. This was going to hit our stop loss. So it's good we actually took some profits in. Now, since the price got really close back to the M15 previous top, which is basically our resistance area in this case. Let me just delete all selected, I guess. Okay, so I'll delete also the rest, so you can see
Can you
better.
flip to my trade, because I see that something is happening in the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, so as you can see, the next candle opens with a gap, which is not a good sign for us, because it's breaking the area here. So if we see that this candle is breaking the tail here, probably it's a good idea to close our position. Of course, we can leave it with a stop loss like this in order to see like a wider movement, and if it's going to continue, in my opinion, maybe there will be this will be not necessary, but if Ilians agree, we can just leave it for you in order to see what's going to happen when the price reaches our stop loss here. You agree with this, because it's a demo account, so we can play around?
Yeah, we can leave the trade from what I see. Maybe to show people actually what happens when a gap forms here. And yeah, just to show them what might happen to their trade and why it's good to maybe
them
close
all the time.
Yeah, and maybe close earlier. I mean, if they see that signal, and if for them this is a potential reversal.
Yeah, because this
or
here,
actually in this case
here
continuation.
is the biggest consolidation. So at that time frame here, so probably this will be the strongest signal for stop loss. If this is broken, probably the continuation of the upper movement will continue. But of course, we can observe something like this. As you can see here, the prices reaches this level, and here we saw a movement on the short side. So that's why we'll leave this trade to see if the correct decision was to close just right above this candle here, or it's a good thing that we manage that we leave it with a wider stop loss. I'm just going to move it a little bit upper. Yep. And Ilian will continue to speak about his trade.
I would like to say here that maybe in this case we will most likely see our stop loss being hit, especially when the price is continuing. Of course, this is not how to say it for sure.
But
we might actually see...
you're playing against the trend, so it's a very this times happens very often. But the thing is that on this level here, when we actually enter into a short position, the movement on the long side was already quite exhausted. So in my opinion, it was too risky to enter into a long position there. So let's see.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Yeah. Doesn't matter what happens. If, for example, our stop loss is hit here, actually your stop loss, maybe you can try another trade, but this time if it goes south or in the wrong direction, just to close, so we can show people why it's important to protect their exposure, to protect their capital, investments, and so on, by closing earlier, even though they're on a small loss, instead of waiting. Because, for example, in this case, you're expecting, if this area is broken, you're expecting for the price to continue up.
Yeah.
And maybe it can continue all the way up to over here, this previous top. So in this case, since you're expecting that, it doesn't matter if your stop loss is here or you put it, for example, all the way here. It will most likely hit your stop loss if this is the next level the price might reach, if this is broken. Of course, we might be lucky actually, and the price might remain inside. So if this level is not broken, your stop loss, I think, is placed good, and you should expect a drop at least to somewhere here. I think you marked that level.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. But even if it's hit, we'll show you. We'll try to make the same trade, but but next time we'll close earlier to show you the difference. Going back here, we are having extremely strong uptrend move on the M15. Maybe second to. Okay, don't want to zoom. Okay, this platform is. Yeah, I don't want to comment on that platform anymore because. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to delete that. Okay, so the M15 actually candle just closed inside this area, which we consider our resistance area, and this is basically the previous top the price made after this strong uptrend here on the M15. So in this case, I don't know why, maybe I deleted it by mistake, but here it was our support. I just want to draw it again. So this is our main sort of a long-term target. And okay, so it's taking the price. Okay, so in this case, what was our plan? To try and sell the pair from here, from this resistance area, down to this support area. So going down to the M3, I would like to review a few time frames. On the M3, basically this is where we had our previous top, last top, before this wave up. If we can consider it a wave, although it's just one candle, but this is M3, so it's a bit different. You can see how, come on. Okay, so you can see how this area, how the price reacted from this area. So in this case, this area would be our M1 sort of a support for now. Let me turn it green. Okay, it doesn't matter. That's not exactly green, but doesn't matter. So this will be our M1 support. So a downtrend on M1, we would expect it to stop here. If this area is broken on the M3 and also M1, it is confirmed that the overall uptrend, if we can consider that the uptrend started here, as you can see, we had a wave up, a correction, and a wave up. So if this area is broken, we can consider the uptrend finished, the overall uptrend, and this would be a confirmation that we are already in a downtrend. So going to the M1, where we will look for possible positions. Let's see what happens on this area. I would expect here for the price to either do something like that, to bounce from here and make a new wave up. Maybe we can see an information formed on this M15 resistance, and then we'll look for entry here. Or the other possible scenario for me is for the price to break through that area here. Maybe have a slight correction back to that area. This area will turn into a resistance and then a further move down. So in both of these two scenarios, we'll be looking for entries. Let me show you with an ellipse. So we'll be either looking for an entry. Wait, okay, this circle. It's not working that good, but we'll either look for an entry over here. I'll just make this line another color, maybe something orange. I like oranges. By the way, it's the season of mandarins. I love mandarins as well. Or either somewhere here. So it's good to plan ahead possible entry points. Of course, it might not happen like that. We might see actually a sort of a range here between this M15 resistance area and this small support. So if this happens, we'll wait for a break of the bottom of the range. And if, because we also have the scenario of the M15 level, so this resistance area being broken, in this case, we want trade this plan anymore, and we will have to redo it, update it, and start deciding what we want to do next, or maybe move on to another pair if we don't like how things are going here. So let's just wait and see what will happen. Here you can see what is going on with your trade actually.
Yeah, well, the main idea here was that as you can see, this big candle closes green. Actually, I should have changed the tail color, but it doesn't matter too much. And this gives us the idea that here the resistance level is working at its best.
So far at least.
Yeah, so far at least. Of course, this is M5, so anything can happen. The next candle is continuing the downward sloping movement. As you can see, we're already on profit. So if this is if that's continue, we will expect somewhere till this area. Let me just draw another line. Somewhere up to here. Yep, somewhere
Basically
somewhere between those two lines to close our profit if it's reached. Yeah, what you wanted to do?
I wanted to ask you that basically between those areas which you just defined now, where you would like to close your position and take in the profits, you watch that area because this is an area where you expect maybe a possible reversal and the continuation of the uptrend. But if, for example, this area is broken with a very strong bearish candle, would you close there?
If it's broken with a very close bearish candle, probably not. Or maybe maybe in the best case scenario, I would have closed 50% here in order just to lock some profit. And I see that the movement is continuing, and a strong bearish candle is breaking this area. I would hold it and see if the trade could continue performing until the area here. But of course, this will we will see this in the future. For now, as you can see, this candle is trying to reverse and to go and close green, which is not very good for our analysis. But yeah, of course, this is M5. You shouldn't pay a lot of attention to this because most of the time the candles here and the signals that they're giving you are just noise, and they're wrong. So here you just have to keep to the main idea and see, just wait and see how your plan will develop.
Okay, let me see what happens on the GBP USD so we don't miss out. Okay, we are inside that small support area, which is formed by the M3 previous top. Let me go back, you can see it here. So this area will act as a support for the M1 and will most likely stop this downtrend. But if it's broken, we have two options: either to enter when the candle breaks this area, or we can wait for a small correction to that wave. Because, for example, if we enter here immediately after the break, if we actually see a break, of course, it would be quite late in the overall M1 downtrend, so it would be good to wait for a correction. This area will act as a resistance, and then look for a possible sell opportunity. Of course, here we have another scenario for the price to go back up, probably form an M formation, and then we can look for an entry here, which would be even better actually. But I suppose we'll have to wait for at least 5 to 10 minutes here for this plan to develop. I'm seeing that we are having sort of a reversal here.
Yeah, this in the case that as you can see, this candle is engulfing the previous bearish candle. Maybe the continuation of the uptrend will continue. As you can see, before this candle, it was looking, the things were looking completely different, and it was looking that we are going to be able to extract some profit from this trade. It's not looking like this anymore. Of course, we can wait another candle, because as you can see, everything is very volatile here. So the signals that I'm usually using on my main trades on a higher time frame. I'm not giving me clear signals right now, and they're not helping me very much. Because as you can see, the candle was going until here, and now it's again full up to there. So it's very unclear what the price will do at the next 10 minutes. The candle will close in less than a minute, I guess. So after the next one, if it breaks this area here and continues with a strong movement on the upper side, probably our stop loss will be hit, but we'll see what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes.
Or maybe actually here we are seeing on the M1 a range. Exactly at that area.
Yeah, it was broken before, but yeah, there is something.
So maybe we will see a break of the bottom of this potential range to call it, and continuation down.
Yeah, there is a possibility like this.
Oh. We had the move here, so actually the price broke this small support. Now it will turn into a resistance, so we'll have to wait for a correction possible here back to that now resistance area, and then to look for possible sell trade. Going to the M3, I just want to mark this last bottom here, where our first target area would be for the price to reach. Again, of course, on the M15 we are trying to reach all the way down here, but we can open multiple trades during that time. It really depends what we can see. Now currently we are having a strong reaction up. The price is returning back so far in be above, actually it retraced inside this broken support, which of course is a resistance. But let me check the M3, because on the M3 it's really important. The M3 broke that area, and now in this case, if the price remains inside here, it doesn't go above that area again, we can expect for the downtrend to continue, and maybe we can look for a signal.
Yeah, that's why we are telling you that even though the trading on lower time frame is very exciting, it's very risky as well, because all the signals are very weak, and everything can change in a minute, as you can see it.
Yeah, but so far we are having a reaction here from this M3 level. You can see that the price, although it went inside like we expected, kinda, now it's pushing further down, meaning that the M3 candle is going away from that level. So I would sell here in this case, because I think there is some good potential here, and I would put my stop loss in this case. If you want to risk, you can place it just above that area, but if you want to play it more safe, you can place it above this top here, which is around the price of, I'm not exactly sure, but let me see. So where was that?
You should go to modify.
Yeah, I'm not on modify. Okay, so we don't have much time to do that. The price is moving in our direction, so this is the level we will be looking at carefully. If the price breaks it, we will keep the trade. As you can see, on the, as Valio said as well, on the lower time frames things can change pretty drastically. Okay, so let me modify and put a stop loss just in case. I'm not exactly sure how to check that. Okay, maybe like this. So which okay, I cannot check it, I suppose.
I think if you put it to just a little bit above the...
Okay, so yeah, I'll put it and move it after that.
Yeah.
So I'll put it at 65 maybe?
Yeah, could be.
No, actually 75, I think. Something like that. Let me see where it put it now.
Could it
yeah, I see it. Okay, so if you want to play it more safe, you should place your stop loss all the way up here.
In this way you can give room to your trade to breathe and to develop easy.
Yeah. I mean, you can also move it further up above the M15 resistance, but in this case, if the price actually goes above that that area. I don't expect it to, I expect it to easily reach inside the M15 resistance or even above it. So it really doesn't matter if it's here or if it's here. The main point here is to manage your trade properly. And in this case, you can see that we are currently witnessing a bit of a stoppage, so to say. I would like to move this line which I drew here for the entry over here, which can be considered the previous top on the M1. So in this case, if we see a break of this top on this previous bottom, actually, if we see a break of this previous bottom on the M1, I can consider this downtrend to be finished. So maybe we can close part or our whole position. Of course, it would be great if the price continues down from here, maybe break this area. Let me see again the M3. Okay, so we had a nice reaction here. Maybe we can see it continue further below that. You can see where our long-term goal is for the price to reach all the way down here. This is the M15 support area. So back to the M1, and I'll give value the word because his trade is developing good from what I can see. So if this is broken, it would be best to close your position, although of course you have the chance, you know, for this uptrend to reach back here, but I would prefer to close the trade, especially on those lower time frames, if we see a break. So in this case, I expect for this small correction to finish here, and then to maybe the price to move further down and maybe even break this level. Back to the, what is this DJI?
This is the Dow Jones. So actually we are in the area where we can close our profit. I'm actually gonna do it right now. And to collect it, as you can see, it's just around here when we can, as the platform marks our movement, our that we managed to extract profit from. As you can see, there was a big red engulfing candle, which after this the movement continues, and it reaches our taking profit area. The trade performed very well, even though here, as you can see, this green candle was giving us the idea that probably the movement will end, and the trade could hit our stop loss. This one did the same thing, so this is why it's very important for you to have a plan and to follow it. Now the idea was that probably if the selling pressure is strong enough, this area could be broken again, and to the movement to continue further down. In my opinion, there is no point to wait for this. I mean, it could happen, it could stay like this and continues with the upper movement. It was just an example, and to show you that it's very important to follow your trade, to follow your plan. And even if you decide to risk more and to give your trade the ability to breathe, as I said, also we could have closed here. In this case, it could have been a mistake. But if this movement continues on the upper side, and we could have reduced our losses. The main thing was that here it worked pretty well for us. So up to this point, we show you that wait.
Yeah, so the price here you can see retraced back above this previous bottom, so I would prefer to close it, although a bit late. So it's hard on the M1 when you are watching, because as you can see, the movements are really fast, and you could have closed here on small profit. Instead we closed on a very small loss, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So this was my trade. It was giving us great profits until here, but you can see how the price reversed. So at this point, I would expect for the price to, it's going down again. Yeah, it can change really fast here. So I would expect for the price to, I cannot catch that, okay, to reach at least back to here and maybe to start a new M1 downtrend from somewhere here. So even if we closed here on small profit, we could have waited for that, and then again we can look for an entry over here. I just want to add here to your plan and your trade that in this case you should always wait for the candle to close. Because, for example, if we closed when the price was somewhere here, it would have been a mistake, since actually the candle didn't close outside of this resistance area you made.
Yep.
So it would have been a mistake if the candle closed outside. So for example, if it closed here, I think it would have been a good opportunity to close and you know, to minimize your losses. But overall, it would have been a mistake to take any premature decision over here and close before the candle has closed. So here we can see that we already almost reached back to that area. Now I'll try to look for a possible opportunity here. Maybe this bearish engulfing, of course, if it works out. We'll have to wait for the candle to close in order to determine if this is a good spot to enter. And back to your trade, you already closed.
As you can see, it's already closed, and this candle for now it's making its small reversal. Of course, the price could consolidate here as the same as here, so it could do the same here, it could make the same square. From this point, depending from how it is on the higher time frame, we could see continuation of the downward sloping movement, or it could react as a strong support, and from here we can see a reversal and to reach again the upper part of this range.
Let's see what's going on the M1, because we might have an opportunity. So you can see actually that uptrend slowed down a bit here by forming this sort of a spinning top or morning star or whatever for candle formation. But this, but this candle formation usually predicts a possible reversal. Of course, it can't predict a continuation. So we'll have to wait for the next candle. But if this next candle is bearish, I am inclined to open another position here, a short position, since we are only selling. Remember that we did our plan on the M15. Let me turn it on so you can see it. And we are only selling from here all the way down to here. Of course, if we reach it, it might not happen every time. But, okay, so it closed. I'm gonna sell here. You can see we had an uptrend, we had a sort of a spinning top, then a bearish engulfing, and this is my signal to sell here. You can use different signals. It doesn't matter if you use ours or our way of trading. Actually, I don't recommend using our way of trading, because I mean, it's not bad, but it might work for us but not work for you. For example, when I started trading, I used another strategy which is extremely profitable for the guy, and he was using it for about 5-6 years or even more, making some great profits, but it didn't work for me. I was having like 80% losing trades instead of winning. So my advice to you is to basically create your own trading strategy and always continue to improve it, to add new things, to remove things that make you do mistakes and lose, to become better at trade management, at money management, because this is one of the most important things, and in the long run this can make the difference between a successful and a losing trader. So a very important part, not only the plan, but still try to focus on your own strategy. Don't try to just copy someone else's strategy, because as I said, it might not work for you, and this doesn't mean the strategy doesn't work. It just your brain is not wired to perceive basically the market and this strategy in such way as the brain of the guy, or of course a girl, that is using that strategy. So you can see we had a nice move down from where we entered. At this point, maybe we can see yet another M formation here after this long downtrend. So if we see, actually it's a W in this case, it's an M formation when it's an uptrend. But if we see this once again, as we did previously, we are going to close part or our whole position somewhere here. Of course, if the price breaks this bottom, this one here, I won't do anything because this would mean that the downtrend will most likely continue. Let me go for blue again. We haven't used blue in a while. Okay, so you can see how a strong reaction we had. Maybe here we can wait for yet another 1 minute candle, since on the 1 minute it's a bit hard to spot those things. But again, if this candle is bullish, I'm closing the position for sure. We can also close here, but sometimes this happens. You are having 3 huge bearish candles, then a bullish one, and you think, okay, maybe it's reversing, but this might be just some noise of people closing their positions which were taken somewhere here on the top. So but still, this doesn't mean that other participants won't jump on to the market and continue selling this pair. So it's good sometimes to wait for a bit more. Sometimes it's best to close it, but this is solely your decision. In this case, I would prefer to wait for another candle. Now, if this candle goes green, it didn't in this case, I would have closed, but still you can see that still there is some pressure from the buyers here. That's why the candle made such a whip on the bottom. Of course, we might see a range here, sort of, and then a continuation down or a new move up. If this candle is bullish, I'm closing the position for sure. Just in case, it would be good to close part of your position. So learn how to close parts of your position, not the whole positions, because sometimes you might be wrong. And for example, from here we might continue with the downtrend, and you'll be, you know, damn it, why did I miss that downtrend? Why did I close my position? That's why you always close around 70 or 80% of your position, and then just move your stop loss at break even and wait for your trade to develop. Still, you can see that here both buying and selling pressure is good. Maybe we'll form sort of a range, or maybe the price will reverse, I don't know. Let's wait for that 1 minute candle and see. We didn't place a stop loss here actually, but let me just show you where I would have placed it. Again, we'll go for 75. This will be, where is 75? Do you see it? I don't really see it on that graph.
Yeah, there.
Where? No.
No?
No. I'm not sure. Yeah, I modified it, but why I don't see it? Okay, doesn't matter. So you can see the price retraced back a bit, but still it's forming a lower high. Now this M1 candle just closed, oh, sorry. And I would prefer to close my position here. We made some small profit. It might continue, but on the lower time frames you have to be very fast opening, closing positions. It's more of a scalping way of trading. It's harder to trade with with a position that you keep open for a longer period of time. That's why I'm closing and opening positions constantly here. But the overall plan remains the same. We are selling until the price reaches all the way down to here. So let's just wait and see for yet another position. We could have, of course, closed like 70 or 80% of this position, but it will be too complex, and this will be too slow in doing so, and actually we might miss and close our position in a loss instead on a profit. I'll delete some stuff so we can maybe look for yet another position. Yeah, it's already 4 o'clock, but maybe we can continue for at least half an hour more. And maybe, as I said, we had issues with the sound, so we can show you now how we prepare our trading day, our trading plan, etc. And although you probably already learned a lot from our trades which we opened here today on this session, but we would like to show you how things work out on the higher time frames, since there it's a bit more interesting, the moves are more clean, and so on. Now here I marked 3-minute area, support area, and maybe we can wait for a break and look for a possible entry, or a break, a reversal to it, then it will act as a resistance, and then look for an entry on the M1. But yeah, the point is to keep selling until the price reaches this support area down here. I would give the word to Valu for a while. Maybe he would like to comment on the price here, and to actually show you some of his trading plans and just explain you briefly how he prepared them, what was his idea, and yeah, basically it's just a routine. You have to do it every day in order to be successful. Maybe you can show them a few plans from TradingView.
Yeah, we could do this. So here I'm just wanted to comment on the trade that we already closed. As you can see, this is why it's very important, as Ilian said, to wait until the candle closes, because this one closes here. It actually breaks this support level that we draw, but the other one closes above it, which gives us the idea that it was probably a good idea to close the position, because the trend will flip. Here the main thing was that we actually do it before this, because we wanted just to show you how it is to collect some profit. Again, the price reaches the beginning of this resistance area here, and as you can see, as the price stops here, it's doing quite the same in this moment again. So probably we could observe for the price to keep into this small range here, and then to make 1 or 2 movements inside of it. Let me just draw it for you. So as it did here, as you can see, the price was moving from here, then it was going up again, and after this I'm just going to show that here it made a quick test, then it went up again, and when it reaches this resistance area here again, the continuation of the downward sloping movement was the strongest. As you can see, it reaches right around here. So there is a possibility for us to observe the same thing, but for now we are not going to trade it anymore. So I'm just going to quickly show to you that if the price keeps into this small range here, we can observe the same movement, and if we observe that the range is, and the resistance is holding the price and it's not giving the sellers to go above it, probably the bears will win, and we can observe something like this, which could reaches the area here. Of course, a higher profit could be extracted from this trade as well. As Ilian already mentioned to
Maybe
Yeah.
instead of showing them plans that already developed on TradingView, you can make a long-term plan directly again on TradingView because it's a bit hard to draw here. But just make them a trading plan that will probably work out in the next few days.
Okay, so let me just open the platform. Here probably you're gonna see some of my published charts. Now we opened this one. Okay, so let's just observe some of our previous trading plans. If you want, you can observe some of yours as well. But let me just open a chart. Let's go for, oh sorry, let's go for CAC 40. This is actually probably my layout that it's going to load. Well, let's just give it a second. Here you can see some of my current positions. Some of you know that I'm long in wheat, and this is actually the plan that I'm following. The price is breaking this. Let me just make it bigger for you in order to observe it more easily. So basically the idea here is that the price is breaking this consolidation, and hopefully we can observe another movement on the long side. But this is one of my current plans. Let me check something that we can use right at this moment. Yeah, this is the natural gas. As you can see, the natural gas made a huge movement on the upside. Let me just show it to you, and it stops here. It started to form some sort of a range, which we can use now for our current analysis. So the idea here will be as follows. Let me just delete this one. This is something from previous plans. So here we can observe that we go for red because we're going short. If the price breaks this consolidation here, which is actually testing right at this moment, we could observe a continuation of movement on the short side. So probably what I would have do here is to see if the price is holding around this. Let me just do it for you like this. If the price is holding around this area here and fails to enter into this consolidation again and to continues the movement there, this will be a sign for me that probably the price will continue with its downtrend. Should I mention here that this is on a daily time frame. I prefer to trade on daily. So the idea here would be to see whenever we see that there is a confirmation, maybe another candle that would go red and continue the down sloping movement to enter into a short position. Probably here the drop will be some sort of a quick up to here, because there is no relevant support area which could stop it properly. So I'm going to draw it through like this. From this point, I think this is too close to reduce profit here. So probably I would see how the price is going to react. I'm not going to reduce any profit, and then it could continue to the levels here, where probably the idea will be to reach this previous consolidation, which I'm going to mark for you now. Let me just change the color because it's a profit taking place, so it should be green. Let's go for this one. So yeah, here probably if the price reaches this area, I would have closed all of my exposure and to take the profit. What you can do in order, if you wanted to play it more safely, you can reduce part of your exposure here and move the stop on break even, which is going to give you the opportunity that you're not going to be able to lose any more from this trade, even if the price reacts from this place and continues going up. But this could, as you can see, give you some false signal, and it could go up, hit your stop loss, and then continues with the downward sloping trend. So here you have to be very careful. The other way is that you could look for an entry point inside of this rectangle here. So if the price reaches, let me just mark it for you, somewhere around here, you could just play it with another short position, enter from here. If the price reaches here, you should definitely close part of your exposure and move the stop on break even. In this case, the stop loss could be put somewhere above this consolidation, and you should just wait to see how your plan will develop, and of course, hopefully to collect some very nice profit from this plan. I don't know if Ilian wants to show you something more, something specially about this one, maybe?
Now I'll do my own plan.
Okay, so
When you're done.
this was something very quick. This is, as I already mentioned, the natural gas on daily. So this is a plan that you can imply and you can go for it. As I already mentioned, this is very important to understand that here you can enter, but this is going to give you more risk for this trade, because actually the stop loss should be placed somewhere around here again, which is giving you a wider stop loss. But for those of you who would prefer to play it more safely and to be more patient and wait, they could wait for the price to reach this level here and enter into a short position from here, where the stop will be a lot tighter, and of course your loss will be smaller, and this is actually increasing the movement on the down sloping trend, so you can actually realize and a lot more profit.
Okay, so let's do a bit of a short-term plan, as Value did more of a long-term. He prefers to trade that way, going for the daily time frame. So I'll do a trading plan that I expect to basically fulfill itself either today or tomorrow, hopefully. I don't know on which pair I'll do it, but we're gonna do it like that. We'll mark the major levels on the H4. Then we'll move down to the M30 to see what the situation is, and the entries can be made on M5 zoom.
There is pros and cons.
Yeah, there are pros and cons. Yeah, I mean sometimes it just takes too much memory of your computer. So here on the H4, actually, this is the euro dollar. I don't really like it, but I'll try to basically figure out something. So first thing first, what did we see here? So we had this downtrend wave, which reached to here. Then we had a sort of a correction. Then another downtrend wave. Then we had a correction up to here. After that, we saw a range. This is a range on the M30 or lower, and a break of. Now, first, I'll zoom a bit so you can see better. First, I would like to mark this area as our resistance area. You can see that this is actually where the correction stopped, and the second wave up also stopped so far. Now let me just change the colors. Okay, so this is our H4 resistance. Now our H4 support is down here where the last bottom is. You can see, okay. So let's just mark it a bit more precisely. Okay, so this is our support area. I'll make it green. Okay, so let's move down then to let me just write down here first that this is the H4 resistance, and at the bottom we have the H4 support. Now this is how I prepare my trading day. I look for possible scenarios that have high potential to basically happen, and I try to trade them either on a daily basis or as swing trading. So let's go down to the this 45 minutes, so the M30. Actually, I would like to turn on the Bollinger Bands here to see what's going on. Okay, so you can see how everything worked out on the M30. You can see the small range we had here, sort of a range, a box. Although this box top was broken, the bottom wasn't, and you can see that the price quickly retraced inside it and actually went even below it. So in this case, I would like to also mark this uptrend here before the box was formed, exactly on this H4 resistance, and now it was broken. So what we can expect from here is this candle, green candle, to be actually an M5 correction to this downtrend wave, and I would expect for the price to continue further down, reaching this previous bottom. Just a second. Maybe something happened with our picture, I don't know why. Just let me see. Why don't we have a picture? That's really strange. I mean, this platform is ridiculous. Okay, so I think the picture is back. Yeah, just a few words because you probably didn't see what we talked about, but we marked this H4 resistance and this H4 support on the Euro-USD currency pair. This is the H4 time frame. Why we mark those areas? Because this is the last bottom the price made after this swing down. So this will be our H4 support, and this is the area where this correction ended, and as you can see, the price retraced back to that area, formed a small range here on the M30, and a new wave started down. So this will be our H4 resistance. Now going to the M30, where we spoke a bit about this break, you can see that after this uptrend here on the M30, which started from this support and ended on this H4 resistance, we had a small square formed, and the top of the square was broken, but the price actually failed to go above that H4 resistance and quickly retraced inside that square and actually just broke it 30 minutes ago. Currently we are seeing a reversal here on this candle, but this reversal for me is actually just an M5 correction to this downtrend wave. That's why I'm going to go to the M5, where we'll look for the possible entries. Let me just delete those lines so it's better for you to see. Okay. So what we had here on the M5, first we had this square, this box. You can see how the price behaved. Although it went a bit outside, it quickly retraced and the bottom was broken here. It went below it, but still, if we take the actual lowest point, which is this, and you know, the highest point, the previous highest point is here, but still this was a fake out actually, and I wouldn't enter here because we are still inside the H4 resistance area. In this case, you can see that actually this is more of a correction to the to this downtrend wave. You can see the correction reaching this area. I don't expect for the price to go inside that area. I'm not sure how to make, okay, I think it's from over here, but yeah, okay. I don't expect for the price to go back inside that area, so maybe we can look for an M5 opportunity here in order to sell and reach to somewhere down here. It's not a lot of pips, but it can be a good profit. So my expectations, as I said, I'll try to let me change the color of that. I'll try to look for a possible entry somewhere here, sell opportunity, and I would wait for the price to reach all the way down there. This is the M5 time frame. Again, here we can have a range formed on the M5, so a sort of a consolidation, and the break of the bottom of this consolidation will be a signal for me. Or maybe we can see an engulfing. This candle might turn red, and then this will also be a signal for me. If the price goes back inside this square it formed here, I won't take any actions. I'll just wait for development and to see what will happen before selling. But remember, going back to the H4 where we marked our levels, so actually those H4 levels will stop M30 trends. So the best option is to go to the M30, and this whole area here, I'll mark it like that. Let me turn it red, because this whole area would be our sell zone. Now we'll only look for sell opportunities here inside of that area. Now the best is to enter somewhere here at the top and maybe make a few smaller trades while the price goes lower to that support area. But remember to place your stop loss well, and also remember to invest less and less depending on where you're entering. So the entries will be on M5, or you can even go to M3 maybe. Now if this M5 closes like that, I would enter here. I just want to go back here on this graph to check out what happened with our trade here. You can see we had a small bounce from that area. Now the price, this is the M15 time frame. Now the price is again here. If we see a break, I'm quite certain that the price will go further down to that support we marked. So the live trading session is finished. Let's see what we managed to do actually. So going to history, you can see the trades we opened today. So this one, and where did we start at? You opened this one, I think. This buy on the Dow Jones.
No, I haven't buy, so this is an old one.
This is an old one. Okay, so we've opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades so far today, and we've managed to make a profit of around 79 US dollars or euro. Of course, this is a demo account, as I said, and those positions were taken on a very short-term time frame, so it was quite hard, but still we managed to make some profits. I hope you will also follow our plans here, the one I made and the one value proposed for the natural gas. They might give you some good opportunities to enter and make you some nice profits. Let me just make this a bit darker so you can define the resistance and the sell zone. This is how we prepare our trades. If you have any questions, just just want to add here that it's very important to constantly learn and study, read news, read websites like CNN, like Bloomberg, like
Investing, CNBC.
Websites like that. So you will always be one step ahead. Economic state of a certain country, or you know what might happen with a certain commodity, or depending on some economic reports, or a lot of other things, but you learn a lot about them by reading. So make it a routine to read every morning. Then the second thing you should do every day is to check the economic calendar to see if there is something you might expect to bring on how to protect yourself from
take advantage from them, because if you have current position and maybe the events are help of your position and push it further in your direction, you should follow this law, because this is the position. And yeah, of course, the other thing that I mentioned in our presentation was that it's very important to have mixed information. Me personally, I prefer to look aside with website with very bearish statements that people there are writing bearish news, and basically sometimes this is they're giving us an information. Last 2 years, it doesn't happen like this, but it's very important for you to know that there is a very to see the other side of the coin, to see people that are sharing this statement, and for example, they say that the continuation of the markets going up will continue, and stuff like this. In this way, you can have the bold borders of the market catched, and for example, you can make your own plan. Of course, it's very important that this plan to be, let's say, how more for this plan to be and to give conclusions for a certain economic event in 1 year, and have the decision now, because most of the time this is going to be wrong. There are trends, so will have nothing in common with some economic events. Let's say an example for this is Brexit, or the news around it every day. People are going saying that the pound is evaluating, that the food index is going down, but during this 1 year I managed to catch a lot of movement on the upper side, so that's why you need to see what's the current state of the market and to analyze it.
Yeah, and then do your plans, follow them, don't make the mistake of a trading plan where you want to only sell. Basically, don't try to buy, just try to sell. Doesn't matter if your position, some of them will lose, some of them will win, of course, but when you become better at so, and of course risk management, how much to invest, where you stand now on the current downtrend or uptrend, you won't, first of all, you won't take a lot of trades, even though the price once you take, you will make you some great profits. You might have a few losing ones after that, but if you're a good manager, you won't lose that much. You will allow the price to reach your stop loss, and thus bottom line, you will be in profit and you will be successful. And one other very important thing is that you always have to keep track of your in order to find that become patterns. If a mistake becomes a pattern, you continue making it and making it, thus losing a lot more, maybe even turning you into a losing trader. This is something that a lot of traders neglect, and that's why they are either losing or winning very small amounts instead of maximizing their profits.
I just want to add something here that it's very important you have a plan to go on the short side or the long side, just to follow it and not to try to get every move this from July.
So I think we managed to give a lot of information ready to that webinar, by the way. If you have any questions, we'll give you like 10 minutes to post them on our chat. We'll try to answer them. If you don't manage to ask us anything, you can always contact us email address, and we'll try to answer as good
as fast as possible.
Yeah, and as fast as possible as well. So
thanks for your attention.
we're waiting for your questions, and then you can contact us about with feedback. It's very important for us, and maybe tell us what you want to learn next time we do such a webinar. This will probably be after the Christmas holidays. Oh, yeah, by the way, very close. So we wish you some great holidays, great New Year holidays. You can always talk to them later, just relax.
And the thing here is that maybe it's a good idea to page the idea that because we think that you're going to be very happy with the going to provide you and this is something that you can follow.
What it is and how to get it. Okay, so Brandon is telling us thank you. Hello, thank you for your sign-offs. Brandon, did you manage to take any of the trades we took today?
Or maybe some of the trades, if you're following our Telegram channel and you're talking about the trades that we are posting there, some of the trades there.
No. On our Telegram channel, we post there for free. You can, I think you can find the link in the description. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
So you can join us there. We post sign-offs whenever we see a good opportunity. Sometimes of course they work, sometimes they don't, but this is trading. And by the way, check the Facebook page. This is a bit of a spoiler, but sign sign-ups will be included in the Christmas gifts we got for you guys.
Well, that was a big spoiler.
So any feedback or questions? We're waiting. I'm watching the chat.
So this is almost out of the footage.
Yeah.
Target our abilities and what should be developed less, because some things might be not good for you and might be even boring for you, and something else could be very interesting for you. So that's why feedback is very important in order for us to know where and how to focus our
Okay, so we got streams from time to time.
I guess this is from the platform that we are using. We can change it for the next time.
For sure we will change it for the next webinar, but today we just didn't have time to change everything just before the webinar, so we'll change it. We'll try to improve regarding that. We'll get a better microphone and a better camera, so our streams will be better. We'll do a trading session maybe every month or every 2 months. We'll do them differently. Maybe we can do some like sort of a coaching to teach you something, and we will also do live trading sessions as well, because we know that this is a thing that interests people the most. Thank you for your feedback, Brandon. And we're waiting for
someone to join and ask us something. Of course, during that time, I can mention that maybe you should probably know that from 21st of December, I think it's 21st Friday, right? We should start posting our free trading plans again on 2nd of January.
Yeah.
So this is maybe something that you should know. There will be no sign-outs posted at the time. Of course, if you have open for this period, we're going to manage it and show you, because the good thing for trading is that you can do it from anywhere. So even if we are, let's say I'm going to Austria, I'm going to Germany, still open, and after to close some profit, we're going to do it and share.
For relaxation, to refresh your mind, and to after Christmas, you know that the markets are pretty stagnant. There are not a lot of opportunities, especially after the 20th of December. And you in January regarding that, but until then we have a few more surprises which will be announced next week as value set.
Yeah, and of course we're going to continue with our weekly schedule that we're going to post our trading plans
by the end of the next week.
By the end of the next week, yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, guys and girls, of course, for attending. I would like to take the opportunity here to wish you happy holidays and to receive the best gifts ever.
Happy holidays. Have a nice weekend. See you again next time.
Bye bye.